Well, to talk a bit more about Martin McGuinness and his role in the Northern Irish peace process, I'm joined on the line by Connal Parr from Northumbria University. Thank you for being with us tonight on France 24. A man really with a very violent past who went on to bring peace to his country. Martin McGuinness leaves a very complex legacy for a lot of people, doesn't he?
Absolutely. He's somebody who goes on a very big journey. There's a book which is about him called Martin McGuinness, From Guns to Government, and I think that nicely captures McGuinness's journey. He is initially in a very rigid physical force tradition of committed to a paramilitary figure and leader, committed to violence to overthrow the state of Northern Ireland, and by the end is this slightly avuncular peacemaker who, as your report alluded to, has a very positive relationship with the Democratic Unionist Party founder and what many people regard as another key protagonist of the Troubles, the Reverend Ian Paisley. And they have this remarkable bond, extraordinary bond at the end of their life, where they're nicknamed the Chuckle Brothers, such as the level of the fondness and the rapport between them. But he starts off, interestingly, as a kind of provisional IRA. He takes a while to come out for the provisional IRA against the official IRA in the split. And he is officer commanding in Derry, and there's a very serious level of violence which goes on there. He's initially second in command during and is on the roof and around during Bloody Sunday, and then he is in charge of a bombing campaign which was so severe that the commentator Eamon McCann said that it looked as if Derry had been hit from the air. Such was the scale of it. However, I should say to you that the British government is always talking to McGuinness. They talk to him through William Whitelaw, Secretary of State, Conservative Secretary of State in 1972, and a guy called MI6 man called Michael Oatley is always talking to him from 1973 until his retirement in 1991. So the British government also has this idea that they can do business with Martin McGuinness quite early.
And yes, of course, and we heard from the modern-day Prime Minister Theresa May today paying her condolences, saying she couldn't condone his early life, but that he should be remembered for what he went on to do. And it is a tribute, isn't it, to his transformation, that even some of his most bitter rivals, I mean, even people who lost family members in IRA bombings, some victims' families saying that they will never forgive, but some saying that he did turn his back on that and he did bring peace to his country. Would there have even been an end to the Troubles without McGuinness, do you think?
No, I don't think there would have been. Martin McGuinness is a fundamental player in the peace process, like it or not. There's a man called Alan McBride, who's a victim's, whose wife died in an IRA bombing in October 1993 on the Shankill Road, and he said something very important today. I thought he said, Martin McGuinness has his fingerprints on the Troubles, but he also has his fingerprints on the peace process. We all have this image of peacemakers as perhaps being figures who sit around strumming guitars, singing Kumbaya and make me a channel of your peace. And in actuality, in actual fact, real peace occurs when the men of violence and the protagonists decide to engage, and that's exactly what McGuinness did. He took and along with Gerry Adams, there is a differentiation, there is a difference between Gerry Adams and Martin McGuinness. But the interesting thing is that McGuinness, he brings the base with him. He brings the Republican movement along with supporting the police service of Northern Ireland in 2007 and in decommissioning arms 2 years before that. So, and he stands up against the militant republicanism, which is always still around and always still bubbling under the surface also in Northern Ireland. Today, not many people have mentioned that in March 2009, the Real IRA, a dissident Republican group, killed 2 off-duty British soldiers at the Mazarine Barracks in County Antrim, and McGuinness at the time came out very strongly and very powerfully against this, and described the people who killed the soldiers as traitors to the island of Ireland, was a very severe denunciation of them, and especially within Republican nationalist language. So he's very sincere, I think, McGuinness, in that journey that he makes. And you only have to look at the situation now in Northern Ireland since he stepped aside to see, frankly, that.
Yeah. So I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I just want to get to this because we are running out of time. But I want to ask you about the future for Northern Ireland. Now that such a key protagonist is gone, is there a risk for peace in Northern Ireland, particularly with the Brexit negotiations hanging over Northern Ireland, the border with the Republic of Ireland, and all of the complications that brings? Do you see any complications in the future because of that?
I do, and it's a pessimistic way of looking at it, but I think that, and Martin McGuinness's departure is connected to this, as I was saying. He was somebody who was prepared to offer moments of leadership in terms of deciding to embark on a conciliatory gesture such as shaking the Queen's hand, which is a symbolistic thing and a symbolic thing for Ulster Protestants who take the royal family very seriously and who are feel very passionately disposed towards the royal family. Northern Ireland is already in this slightly unbearable, agonising hinterland where it's between the United Kingdom, which has a very serious level of negotiations to conduct on Brexit, and the Republic of Ireland, which also doesn't really want to know and doesn't really want to take it on. So they're already in this position, and given the amount of European Union structural funds and peace for money which goes into the region, Northern Ireland is certainly looking at a really difficult situation over the next few years. And this is aside from what's going on in Scotland, which is also a member of the Union and which it is always reacting with.
Okay, Connal Parr, we'll have to leave it there, unfortunately, but thank you very much indeed.